And now, it's Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Well, the captain retires. The Whitecaps facing FC Dallas at BC Place on Sunday afternoon. There's friendlies galore all around North America. And just an insane amount paid for James Rodriguez. Just some of the topics we'll be discussing on the program today. Good evening and welcome. It is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk right here on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. My name's Tyler Green, on Twitter at TylerGreenFC. Also available online via a webcast and live streaming at www.am650radio.com. Thank you for listening to us live or on the podcast. Now available on iTunes. Just head to our page on am650radio.com and, hey, leads you to it. And, of course, the webcast, very, very key tonight. Because if you're watching on the webcast, you have a fantastic shot at winning a pair of tickets to the Whitecaps versus Sporting Kansas City match on August the 10th. am650radio.com, the place to go to watch the webcast. The first half kickoff is brought to you by KO, Kevin O'Toole, and findaproperty.ca. Kevin has an amazing property for sale at Whitecliff in West Van. 5 bedrooms, 5-bath, luxury home, gorgeous place, gorgeous view. I'm going to check it out tomorrow. 2 to 4 p.m., the open house tomorrow. I'm going to go just for the sake of dreaming big. Checking it out and seeing what I might be able to live in eventually. Full details at findaproperty.ca. Kevin O'Toole, licensed realtor with Prudential Sussex Realty, online at findaproperty.ca. And as always, if you want to sell your home, Kevin, the man that can get it done for you. All right, Jada Merritt, the Vancouver Whitecaps captain, since their debut in Major League Soccer back in 2011, well, he is officially retired. A variety of reasons. One, citing his battle with some injury concerns. One of the issues that helped make that decision. Also just some business-related issues that he has to look forward to. And said, looking back, don't really have any regrets if I retire right now. And we're going to hear from Jada Merritt when the captain speaks on the program at 10:30 this evening. I chatted with Jay about his memories, his career, including one of his moments he'll never forget while wearing a Whitecaps uniform. And what's next for Jada Merritt? It's a simple question. Is it a simple answer? 10:30, we'll hear from the captain. And he's the only full-time captain that Vancouver has ever known in Major League Soccer. Yeah, there have been fill-ins. There's a laundry list of guys that have filled in on wearing that captain's armband for the Vancouver Whitecaps. But who should be the captain now moving forward? They need a new one. And it's tonight's Barber Poll presented by barberandco.ca. Who should be the Whitecaps' next captain? There's a lot of choices. David Osted, Pedro Morales, Andy O'Brien, maybe a younger guy that has been with the team like a Russell Tybert. Could Jordan Harvey do it? He's been with the Whitecaps here for the last number of years. Maybe a guy like Gershon Kofi. Tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag BarberPoll on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 or at TylerGreenFC. You can also email us at SoccerTalk650@gmail.com. 604-280-0650, the number to call. You can weigh in on the Barber Poll as well on our Facebook page at Facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. The Barber Poll is brought to you by Barber & Co. Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, and a new location at Cambie and 18th. On Twitter at Barber & Co. Visit barberandco.ca. I'm attending a wedding next weekend, so I'm going to hit up Martin and the boys and get a fresh new cut. Look good for that wedding. Going to do that this week. All right, coming up on the first half of the program, Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk contributor Simon Fudge, who writes for Goal.com as well as now for another publication. Simon will tell us what that is in the next segment here. Well, we're going to dive into the starting 11. Jada Merritt, as talk about his career, mentioned that. Plus, Bob Lenarduzzi is going to tell us what he thinks is Jada Merritt's legacy as a Vancouver Whitecap. In the second half of the program, full preview of the Caps and FC Dallas tomorrow at BC Place, plus David Sandals will be by to speak more about Demerit's injury. How does his Achilles tendon affect his ankle injury, the ankle tendon that he tore this year? David Sandals has all the details at 11 p.m. And, of course, are they looking for another center back now? We'll talk to, Bob Lenarduzzi will weigh in on that, and head coach Carl Robinson as well. And as always in the second half of the program, the manager's rant. Are the Whitecaps in a slump right now? And, of course, everyone's favorite topic, hot fudge. Simon gives you the one thing that you need to look forward to this week. You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. Get into Kia Vancouver right now for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. Again, my name's Tyler Green. Simon Fudge and I debate the starting 11 next.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they'd choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 4 barbershops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Early job seekers tried to find clever ways to send their resumes to employers, such as carrier pigeons,
Incoming!
singing telegrams.
Jason has an MBA, doo-da, doo-da.
Today, all the modern job seeker needs is VancouverJobShop.ca. You can upload your resume for free. So, instead of being clever...
And our next dedication goes out to that very special hospital administrator looking for an IT director.
You can just be smart. VancouverJobShop.ca. Long name, amazing results.
Back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps face FC Dallas tomorrow. We'll preview that match in the second half of the program. Plus, hear from Jada Merritt, who retired from playing earlier this week. Plus, our thoughts on what we think Jada Merritt brought to the Whitecaps on and off the field. Right now, Kia Vancouver has a selfie contest happening Win yourself Whitecaps tickets, 4 Whitecaps tickets, autographed jerseys, car detailing, all the details on our Facebook page, facebook.com/soccertalkvan. Just have to tweet a photo, Instagram a photo with the Kia Vancouver hashtag of you and your Kia. It's pretty easy. Facebook.com/soccertalkvan for all the details. It is starting 11 time now. Tweet us your thoughts to the starting 11. Tyler Green FC, Simon Fudge 74. Simon, of course, is a show contributor, Goal.com writer, and Simon
will be contribute or have now started to contribute to the Vancouver Courier on the beautiful game.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Lots of places to read Simon Fudge, and we'll get into how Simon Fudge sounds with the starting 11, and we'll go with number 1 on the starting 11. Germany manager Joachim Löw has signed a 2-year extension as the head coach of the German national team. His contract will now expire after Euro 2016. Is this a good or a bad move for Löw?
For Löw, I think it's a good move. It makes me wonder if he is seeking out to do what the French and the Spanish did in recent years, and that is lead a national team in Germany through having won a World Cup and following it up by winning a European Championship title. And that might be something that he's kind of seeking to do here, just to sort of cement himself as one of the greats.
I would agree with you. I think he wants to go out and try to win as many of those big national team trophies that you can, World Cups, Euros, etc. And also, when I look at it, there's only a limited number of really high-profile club jobs. And he's not the type of guy, I think, after you win a World Cup, it's not like you're going to go coach Stoke City, for example, or, a low team in the German Bundesliga if that's where he decides to go. You are going to go to one of the top jobs around. And there's only a limited number of those jobs around. And I think that probably had a lot to play in as well as to where he could possibly go. A lot of those jobs already taken. So why not stick with what you've already accomplished? Personally, I probably would have walked away after winning the World Cup. Leave on a high. Why tarnish it with possibly going out at I don't think it's going to happen, but going out at the group stage of a Euro tournament.
Yeah, and one more small point on that. I think also as well, I think him and the German FA agreed that they would like to have continued the continuity of progress that they've had with these very, very gifted players that they've been bringing through in the last few years. Number 2, James Rodriguez has completed a huge transfer deal and signed for Real Madrid. Can he live up to the 80 million euro fee that he was signed for, and is he worth 80 million euros?
It's going to be tough for him to live up to that, but he's at Real Madrid where he is going to get a lot of help in terms of players supplying him with opportunities to score goals. And I think if he stays healthy, he's going to get chances to live up to that price tag. Is he worth it? I don't know. He had one good World Cup. Who knows if his team is going to make it again over the next 2-3 World Cups. He's had some good production previously in his club career, but he's still a young player. But I guess, that's when you got to strike it hot. I don't know if he's worth the big dollar sign.
On the first part of the question, I think it's going to be hard for him to fulfill that sort of 18 million euro valuation because Real Madrid has been very classic of bringing players in with that kind of level of fanfare, and it ends up being a bit of a place that turns into a bit of a graveyard for such players, as much as they are incredibly talented. So trying to live up to that price tag, which will be hanging over his head now for a large part of his career, is going to be very difficult. The second part, I would say that he is worth very high price, but it's only Real Madrid that would end up putting it as being something around 80 million euros. They're prepared to basically outbid anybody in the world to get a player like that, and it ends up being such an exorbitant price that it's very difficult not to ignore and debate.
Number 3 on the starting 11. A lot of talk about Javier Hernandez Chicharito possibly moving elsewhere. Should an MLS team make a big money splash for Hernandez?
No, I don't think so, because I think MLS clubs at the end, whomever they would try, whoever that would be, would miss out on him. And the reason is because he's just drawing interest from huge clubs in Europe right now. I mean, today he was linked with Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan. I mean, Inter seemed to be almost prepared to do a player swap with Manchester United to bring him to Italy. And I think at the end of the day that'll prove to be too much for an MLS club to be able to bring him. I could see him playing in MLS sometime down the road, but right now I think those efforts would be wasted by an MLS club.
Hey, why not? I would, if I'm a team looking to make a splash and really wanting to solidify something up front. You know, a guy that knows how to score goals and has done so in the Premier League, in Champions League, has the ability to do so. Yeah, why not make, if you're an MLS team, try and make a big money splash? Yeah, you're going to be competing with some of the other European teams, and you're not necessarily going to get him, but it might look good on you to go out and just at least attempt to make a play for it.
Number 4, DeMarcus Beasley is the latest U.S. men's national team player to return to MLS as a designated player. Which, if any, Canadian should come to MLS?
Oh, well, I think the logical choice is a guy like Atiba Hutchinson, who has had a very good career in Europe and probably one of the mainstays on that Canadian national team. But one player that I think is young, who could do a lot of good in Major League Soccer, is Simeon Jackson. I think he would be a player that could excel in Major League Soccer if he came over here and started playing in a certain system. Hey, I would love to see him play for the Whitecaps. He's a player that has some speed, has some ball skills, could, I think, take over for guys like an Eric Hurtado, like a Kudamane, like a Darren Maddox. Probably not as speedy as those players, but still has some pace to him and probably could do some damage in Major League Soccer. So he would be my pick because of his age, because of the potential that he has.
Atiba Hutchinson, it would be my choice. He probably is the finest quality player that Canada's ever produced, and I think would do a great job wherever he ended up in the league. Obviously, being in Turkey with Besiktas, obviously had been looking to get a big move, let his contract run out at PSV, thinking he could maybe get to England or whatnot. But unless something like that, where he was ended up in a higher profile league in Europe, is going to be on the horizon, I think, particularly now that he's 31 years of age, it would be a good move if an MLS club might be interested in bringing in someone who could sort of very much command central midfield in their team. And I think he would be a very good addition in the league.
Starting now with number 5 on the starting 11. With so many friendlies happening around North America right now, are you disappointed that the Whitecaps are not hosting one?
No. I don't think the Whitecaps need an extra game at this stage. And bit of an untold story, I think, of sorts from 2011 when they hosted Manchester City here. The stress and I think the high cost of bringing them here to Empire Field, overall in assessment, certainly at the time when I was at the club, I think created a bit of a deterrence that those kinds of efforts, as extraordinary as that situation was at the time, that it really wasn't worth it. And I think in a lot of ways they're probably much better without having to deal with it at all, especially when they've been having such desires year on year to play in the Champions League.
Well, for me, when I look at it and think, yeah, you want to try to win trophies and you want to concentrate on making Major League Soccer playoffs and you don't need that added distraction, well, the Whitecaps haven't exactly gone out and done that so far, so why not get a friendly, get a little extra gate revenue? There were so many opportunities. I looked at, on Twitter, Rangers playing Ottawa, a couple other places. I saw tweets. That game drew me to the game, had a great time. Now want to go back and see that club play in league games. So I think there's that aspect to it. So there's the possibility of trying to bring some of those players in. It gives the players that you're playing with an experience as well. And I think it might draw some international attention to somebody going, hey, I like that city of Vancouver. Hey, I like playing in that stadium. Hey, I like some of those guys on that team. I want to go play there. So I think there's some added benefits to it other than just trophy, not friendlies. Because it hasn't worked for the Whitecaps anyway, not playing friendlies.
No, that's true. Number 6, having just acquired Warren Creval this week from the Houston Dynamo, have Toronto FC had the best season of player transaction/acquisitions to date?
I think so. I think they're still trying to meld their team, and I think there's still a bunch of holes, but there were a bunch of holes with that Toronto FC team that I don't think it's going to take just 1 year for them to fix all the problems with it. Defensively, I think is the main concern for them right now. But when I look at what they've done, they've made some shrewd moves. They've made some big signing moves, and guys like Jermaine Defoe and Michael Bradley who have fit in very nicely and have helped that team. Plus, like Creval and a couple other players, they've added little pieces that have helped that to solidify that team and just get it that much better and make it a little bit stronger. There's still plenty of holes to fill and fingers to put into the dam that's leaking, but they're slowly getting that ship righted, and I think it's going to be a slow process, but I think that pretty much they have done, I think, the best job of putting together some key pieces from where they were to where they are now.
I agree, and I think the thing to keep in mind is certainly when they brought the big pieces of Defoe and Bradley in, that was all fine and good because they've done that before, but it was always a question of, well, this club has had a very bad reputation of never rounding out their squads around these big pieces and players. From the minute they got Colin Warner in a trade with Montreal for Issei Nekajima Ferran, and then Dominic Oduro, who I'm a big fan of from Columbus, and now Creval, they've got at least 3 quality MLS players that are not big stars, but nonetheless are huge, very useful quality players in the league. They may have not worked out today when they played Kansas City, and as you say, they do have big defensive problems. Not a big fan of Bradley Orr and Daniil Henry playing in the center back positions. But going forward here, it's going to be really interesting to see if Toronto FC can actually hit stride, if they can get the pieces together, and they actually become one of the teams to beat here at the latter stage of the season.
Number 7 with DeAndre Yedlin reportedly on the brink of a transfer to AS Roma. Should Major League Soccer, and more specifically the Seattle Sounders, do more to keep the young homegrown player in Seattle and MLS?
They should try, because it is important for the league and for the club. But it's a classic situation of, if at the end of the day DeAndre Yedlin wants to make the move to Italy, really Seattle and the league can't stand in his way, and they're going to have to let him go. And in some ways it does reflect very well on them that they've produced a player of that quality that a team like Roma would want him. But that's going to go through if DeAndre Yedlin wants to go.
It will, but I think at the same time, I think MLS and the Sounders specifically have to really try to put their foot forward, try to make him as happy as possible to stay in Seattle, whether that is a DP status or what have you. I think you have to try to do everything in your power to try to keep Yedlin there in Seattle. Look at what LA did with Omar Gonzalez, keeping him there. Same with what Sporting KC is doing with Zuzi and Beasler as well. So they're keeping players, and they're trying to keep those players in Major League Soccer, even though they're getting talked about going elsewhere, and they're getting that recognition of these guys staying, and that's going to make your league that much stronger. And you have to, I think, try to do whatever you can to keep Yedlin in Seattle. And yeah, in the end, it's his decision. He can decide to leave if he wants to, but I think you have to do whatever you can to try to keep him.
Number 8, Frank Lampard signing with New York City FC means he's going to a so-called retirement league, while Didier Drogba's return to Chelsea is heralded as a hero's return. What's true?
Well, I think there's like a little bit of both in regards to that. I don't think Major League Soccer is the retirement league that people are sort of talking about. Some of these older stars are coming over here, but they're still productive, and Frank Lampard could stay in the English Premier League and do very well, I think, with a different team. Look what he did last year with Chelsea when he came on a few times. He just wasn't in their plans, and he decided, hey, new adventure, new opportunity, going to go to New York. And then I look at Drogba, and he's done some great things with Chelsea, and yeah, it's that hero's return. He could go out and score 0 goals next year And would he still be a hero, or is he a guy that's past his prime? He could come here and do extremely well. He could come here and do terrible. So, I think it's a little bit of both. It's a bit of a retirement league in some senses, but it's also a new opportunity and an opportunity that can still compete at a higher level. And then at the same time, hey, if you stay in the Premier League and you do nothing, what's it going to be? So, I think there's a little bit of truth to it, but overall it's just people saying their league's the best, and still, Major League Soccer is still the poor redheaded stepchild.
And considering that probably most of those opinions are coming from over there, that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Drogba's return to Chelsea, yeah, it's a hero's return. I think there's no question. But to me, this question kind of got under my skin a little bit, because I don't like the idea of Lampard has come here to a retirement league, and he's going to find out next year that he's come to a big challenge here, in terms of the travel and the distance and just how good and competitive the teams are. And the first thing that really came to mind with me with the idea of this MLS being a retirement league, for me is well, there's a lot of young talent here that he's going to be going up against that's up and coming. So. He's come to a league that's on the rise, and that's probably a far more accurate way to look at it. And I wouldn't be terribly surprised, because he still has that desire to play, that's what he feels he's joining as well, not just in the club that he's joining, but also in the league that he's joining as well.
And let's not forget that U.S. men's national team did in fact go further than an English national team, with players pretty much all based in England, and a team that had a large number of players based in Major League Soccer. Number 9 on the starting 11. It is also our Barber poll, brought to you by Barber & Co. Who should be the next Whitecaps captain?
Said it before, and I'll say it again, Andy O'Brien. His experience, having played in the Premier League with Bolton, Republic of Ireland international, and having also seen him at times on the pitch really be willing to pass on and speak and give advice to his teammates and so forth. When need be, he's vocal. When he has to be, he shows himself to be the leader. He's my candidate, and even though arguably it might only be for this season, because we're not sure if he'll be coming back after 2014, I still think that he is the right candidate.
For me, that's the reason why I wouldn't make him the captain. There's also possibility that he might not necessarily get back onto the field for a while if they keep going with Carlisle Mitchell and Johnny Leverone as the center back pairing. I also am not a huge fan of necessarily always just giving it to your best player, especially when Pedro Morales is a guy that is new to the league, doesn't necessarily speak a lot of English, and yeah, you can be the best player, but you also have to kind of be able to motivate your teammates and create that atmosphere of everybody being involved. And so for me, that's not necessarily what I'm going to see out of Pedro Morales. I hate when goalies are captains, because if there's something that needs to be talked about, it's a long trek for a goalkeeper to go. And it doesn't leave a lot of other guys. But one guy who, and I think I said this before on the show, that I would like to see have the captain's armband. Maybe he's not ready, but I think it would be a big boost for him, big confidence builder. That's Gershon Kofi. He's been here a long, long time. He's been with the Whitecaps previously, before MLS, through to MLS. He's been through all the regime changes. He knows what this city is about. He's he's got that up and coming. He's quiet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's not necessarily a bad thing for a captain. You don't always need a loud, boisterous captain. And I think it would bring his game to the next level. So I would love to see Gershon Kofi wearing the captain's armband. A couple people, Todd on Twitter, saying, for now, rotate the captain's armband. Kevin tweeting at findaproperty.ca. Vote for Pedro. Jorge Mendoza. I think Osted, veteran, not shy of communicating and can speak English. Vote for Pedro. another one from Vancouver Armada. So you can weigh in on the poll question on Twitter at SoccerTalk650.
Number 10, what is your favorite Jay DeMerit memory?
The time that he played.
Fair enough.
You know what? I was trying to come up with something for a good Jay DeMerit memory, and quite honestly, I looked back and there are a few moments that had a conversation with him here or there. I remember being in Arizona for that first training camp that the Whitecaps had, and being there for that, and everyone kind of new to the whole situation, and Jay and Joe Cannon for that matter, looking at me and Mark Weber, the only two media guys that were there, and saying, "Hey guys, do you want to come with us? We're trying to get to know everybody as well. So why don't you come out with us and we can get to know who's going to be covering us, and you can get to know some of the players." But that for me was one of the leadership things that he did. But overall, I look at Jay DeMerit, and greatest memory is actually Jay DeMerit playing. There weren't pretty much about 50% of the games that Jay DeMerit played in that he was actually available for. So playing Jay DeMerit. Playing.
Yeah, and I had the same struggle as well, trying to pick a particular game that he did something significant. There were one or two very good performances, I think in 2012 especially, that I thought he put in that were excellent. But I'm going to go with something that was a little off the pitch. It was going to see the rough cut of his movie that he brought on in 2011 about his story, which was Rise and Shine, the Jay DeMerit story. We were in a theater somewhere on the downtown east side, and it was very much a rough cut. I can assure you, and but it was a really enjoyable evening, and having sort of had a sketchy idea of the whole thing, to kind of have it there in front of you, and you kind of did, and the people that were involved and the people that he was able to get to talk about it kind of just brought it all together. And I think probably that's the biggest memory I have of him, and him now moving on, is that the thing to keep in mind with him is just where he came from to get to this point was just quite remarkable. And I think that in itself is the story to really tell.
And Jay DeMerit played in 71 Whitecaps games in MLS. There was so far 121. He's played in 59% of the Whitecaps games.
Yeah, less than triple digits. Yeah, it's not great over 3.5 years, I have to say.
Yeah. So, and finally on the starting 11 today, Whitecaps take on FC Dallas tomorrow. Win, lose, or draw for the Caps?
A 1-0 win over FC Dallas I see tomorrow. I think it's going to be a closely fought game, and having seen the great history between these two teams, especially more so at BC Place than necessarily in Dallas, I think there's going to be plenty of incident in this game because there is a lot at stake. So I think it'll be good to watch, but I think there'll only be the one goal in it, and I think the Whitecaps will find that goal and win it. It'll end up being a big win for them because it's a game they have to win. There's no question.
It's a game they have to win. Don't think it's going to happen. I'm going with a draw. Simple as that. Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, the Fantasy League contest presented by Umbro Canada. Visit facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan for details how to join the league. And our July contest. Are you going to be the crappiest Fantasy League player in July? I'm trying my best. I'm 8 from the bottom right now for July total points. I'm working hard. But Ronald Martin with Rayford FC and Justin Fendley with the Vancouver Whitecaps are so far are really working it. They're really doing well. They might be the crappiest in July and win the Fantasy League contest, the big Umbro prize. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national team, celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros. Umbro.com. I play defense on my team. Last 2 games, 3 goals. I'm apparently leading my team now in scoring ever since I put on the new Umbro boots. Umbro, the heart and soul of football. All right. Up next, the latest scores from Major League Soccer. And we'll also talk with the ex-captain of the Vancouver Whitecaps. It sounds very weird, but Jay DeMerit is next.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the big league. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Purchase any new Kia before July 31st and get their special Summer in the City package with free car washes for life, free airport shuttle and parking, a 4-piece travel set, and you're automatically entered to win a trip for 2 to Harrison Hot Springs in September. No Bull, now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
Held high above the heads of soccer supporters everywhere. The soccer scarf is a world-class tradition, and Global Scarves can get you into the game. From English soccer clubs to Canadian hockey teams, Global Scarves has been producing high-quality UK knitted soccer scarves for over 40 years. Because you're dealing directly, you get the lowest price, and your order shipped in as little as 15 days. Global Scarves are a high-margin, high-spirited fundraising idea. Contact Brad at globalscarves.com or visit globalscarves.com.
Pick it up, Vancouver. It's for you. Chatter Wireless, the cell phone company with a difference, has just expanded its zones into Abbotsford, Aldergrove, and Langley. The difference? No worries. With Chatter Wireless, you get unlimited local talk for just $20 a month in a Chatter zone. No credit checks, no term contracts, no worries. Join the hundreds of thousands of people already enjoying our worry-free network. Find your nearest locations at chatterwireless.com. No worries. Talk happy.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps in Dallas tomorrow. Jay DeMerit in a minute. You can tune in to am650radio.com. Watch the webcast and your chance to win a pair of Whitecaps tickets to the August 10th game against Sporting Kansas City. All you have to do, watch the webcast at am650radio.com. Watch for the cue to call. Simple as that. First one through wins it. Simon's got some scores from around Major League Soccer now.
One game last night in MLS. Colorado Rapids defeated Chivas USA by 3-0. Only 2 games today in the league. Toronto FC falling 2-1 at home to 10-man Sporting Kansas City. The Eastern Conference leaders now having won 6 of their last 7. It was New England Revolution 1, Columbus Crew 2. New England have lost 8 straight MLS games, after a great early run in the season. Tomorrow we have Montreal Impact hosting the Portland Timbers, 2 struggling sides there. And Monday sees Seattle Sounders hosting the LA Galaxy. There were also 5 friendlies involving English Premier League sides against MLS clubs. Philadelphia losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace last night. New York Red Bulls defeating Arsenal today by 1-0. DC United lost 3-0 to Fulham. Chicago Fire lost 2-0 to Spurs. And Houston Dynamo fell 1-0 to Aston Villa.
Our Barber Poll presented by Barber & Co. online at barberandco.ca. Who should replace Jay DeMerit as captain? And the captain retiring on Thursday, the official announcement on Thursday anyway. And I spoke to Jay at the press conference, and it was one of those questions when I started talking to Jay. I was like, Jay, is this a good day? Is this a tough day? Is this a miserable day? What kind of day is it to announce your retirement from playing soccer professionally?
Well, it's just another day with different challenges, I suppose. Yeah, it's something that, when you feel it's right, there's no better time than now to get on with it. And I'm not a waverer in anything that I do. Really, it's just about making sure that you weigh up all the options and you make the right decision. And I really truly believe that this is the right decision. And there's no better time than now to start the next venture. And talking with the club and creating a good role for me is something that we plan on doing, and I plan on being a part of this club like I have been since the moment I sat down on these shores 4 years ago. And that stuff doesn't change, just my role does. And again, I'm excited for that, and I look forward to continuing to try to create a new role for me.
What ultimately made you to decide that this was it for you?
Just the fact that every time I take the field, I do it with the full commitment, and that involves me being willing and able to be the player that I am, and that's someone that's all in and shows us full commitment. And I really believe that with one functioning tendon in my ankle, that was going to be very hard. And I came back. I worked really hard last year and gave my all, and was able to prove people wrong again, to come back from an injury and really play and really be the player that I always have been. And when the second tendon went this year, I knew I was up against it. I knew surgery wasn't an option because that puts me out for the season again, so I wanted to give it a go. And for the first month of this rehab, I knew that I was probably not going to make it. And after about a month and really testing it and seeing where the strength was, I knew that it was just too far gone. And again, then that made the decision much easier.
Game on Sunday now for the Whitecaps. How do you approach that one?
Well, me personally, I approach it as always. I'm looking forward to getting to the stadium, seeing all the fans, and I got some good friends in town that just happened to be here. They didn't even know 5 months ago when they booked their tickets that it would be my retirement weekend, but they're here. I just surround myself with the quality people that I do and love, and just enjoy it all. I'm very fortunate to have gotten to this point. These types of things, sometimes they happen in your first season. I was thankful to have 11 years of this stuff and to achieve everything beyond what I've ever thought I would ever achieve. So, I'm very thankful, and again, I look forward to game days now and being in the stands and growing this game and getting more season ticket holders and being out in the stadium and tailgates and all that other stuff. It's all part of this beautiful culture we have here, and one that we're continuing to create. And if I can be one of the helpers in that creation, then I'm all for it.
Can you name sort of one moment with the Whitecaps over in England and with the national team that you remember fondest on your career?
Well, for me, it's the pinnacle. It's standing on that halfway line against England, wearing my stars and stripes and hand on my heart, singing my national anthem, knowing that, I've been chosen as one of 11 players to represent our country in the biggest sporting event in the world. And, there's not many people in this world that get an opportunity to do that. And I think that has to top it all.
What about club-wise here with the Whitecaps? What's your sort of key moment?
Well, one of my favorite moments was that 4-2 thrashing of Toronto in our first game. A lot was expected of us. The Empire Stadium was packed. People were stomping their feet on those loud aluminum bleachers, and we went and gave a committed and exciting performance, and really started this whole Whitecaps movement in the MLS. And again, to lead the guys out that day and to lead them off the field that day, it just started something special. And again, that will now continue, but just in a different way.
What's next?
Well, that's a very complicated question, but I have other business ventures through other companies and technology-wise, and being an ambassador for this club is important to me. Hopefully, to get some kind of fusion role where I'm doing a lot of different things, whether it's community, whether it's being in the locker room with the guys, mentoring the young Kakuta Manes of this world, growing this game, in BC and in Canada and North America, using Rise and Shine, the documentary, to continue to spread inspiration in people that want to go and achieve their dreams. These are all inspirations of mine, and I get to be the subject of those types of things. So it's my job to spread that message, and I look forward to doing that in many different ways.
There he is, the captain, former captain, Jay DeMerit, joining us here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk for the Kia Showroom interview, 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. And, well, it is our Barber poll presented by Barber & Co. on Twitter, at Barber & Co. Who should replace Jay DeMerit as captain? I said Gershon Kofi as the permanent captain. Simon Fudge saying Andy O'Brien. What do you think? Let us know on Twitter at SoccerTalk650, at Tyler Green FC. And Jay brought a lot of attributes to that captain's armband. It was the ability to talk to the media every day. It was the ability to get his teammates motivated. It was the ability to connect with the fans. And this is what head coach Carl Robinson thought Jay DeMerit brought to the Whitecaps.
Well, I think it's clear for anyone who knows Jay or watches Jay what he brings to the table, and he brought a fantastic leadership qualities. People only see that on the pitch because they see he wears his heart on his sleeve. He fights for every ball. He tackles. He runs. He heads it. But more importantly, in the change room, he's a warrior in the change room. He wants players to get better. He demands players to get better, because if Jay's background is he come up the hard way, and he understood what it takes to get from the bottom to the top. So, me being a young coach and young manager, I was quite happy with him relaying that information to the players, and if they needed a rollicking or a shouting, he would do it. And he'd done it in pre-season a couple of times about pushing themselves, because we've got a young group of players, and sometimes they're comfortable doing enough. And if we want to be a progressive football club moving forward, then we can never just be doing enough. We have to be raising the bar all the time. And he was key to that. Not just this year for me, but the years that he was here prior to that. And there's a reason why he's been captain of the club, because of the experience he's got and the level that he brings. And he'll be sorely missed.
I know you can't replace a guy like Jay DeMerit with somebody similar necessarily on your team, but how do you replace Jay DeMerit?
Yeah, good question. It really is. And the guys we got at the moment, we've got obviously Andy O'Brien's a very experienced, totally different player to Jay, but very experienced, top quality professional. And we've got three young guys at the moment in Carlisle, Johnny and Christian. We're always looking at trying to strengthen the squad, not just now in the short term, but for the longer term. And, if we do, and we think it's right, then it's probably going to have to be someone with the attributes of Jay, and a fighter, someone who wants to, get into a battle and is willing to step up to that plate if it gets a little bit physical. And, if I think we can find one, and, maybe we are looking, then we'll certainly do that.
Was a tough 7-game stretch here over the last little while. You have been able to pick up some points on the road, but back at home now, you want to get back to winning ways. What do you need to do to do that?
We just need to perform. If we perform the same way as we did against Chivas, I've got no doubt we'll win the game, because the performance level was great. The result was disappointing because we lost 3-1, but the first half performance after reviewing it and analysing it was excellent. We should have been 2-3 goals ahead. We weren't. We've got to make sure that we don't let teams stay in the game, when they're out of the game, and then also we've got to make sure we don't allow teams to get back in the game if we've only got a 1-goal lead, because that's what cost us against Chivas. And again, I keep saying it, as we're a young group moving forward, we're going to make mistakes, we're going to make hiccups, and it's important we rebound. And after the disappointing of the game against Chivas, we went on the road and we played 2 difficult games, and we put in 2 very positive performances. But we need to win our home games. I say that all along, and whatever the outcome on Sunday, if it's successful, brilliant. We still need to win all our home games. If we don't, then we need to try and make up an away game somewhere along the line. But we need to focus on our home games.
Dallas, obviously, one of the top teams in the Western Conference. What do you need to do to beat them?
Yeah, it's interesting listening to, reading things and listening to people. They are one of the top teams, and they're 2 points ahead of us. So, we're not far away, and I said all along, we're that close, but we're that far away. So I'm confident in the group of players I've got. When I decide what system and what team to go with, because we've got competition for places all along, we've got to put our stamp on the game. They've got good attacking players. The 2 wide players and the 2 centre forwards are a handful, and they like to attack, and I think against New England they had 20-odd chances, so it's important we do our jobs defensively, but we put our stamp on the game, and it's going to be an exciting game for the supporters to watch because they like to come and play. Everyone knows that we like to play at home, and hopefully there's lots of goals, more for us.
And of course, you can weigh in on that Barber poll today. Who should the next Whitecaps captain be? Alberto Hernandez weighing in. He thinking David Osted should be the next captain. G_Van City saying Gershon Kofi. Going with me. So far, nobody's agreeing with Simon on here. Do you agree with Simon? Should it be Andy O'Brien? Weigh in at Soccer Talk 650. Craft Beer Tom says the next captain, Tom Cleverly. Tom, we're going to have to talk. I'm going to have to phone you this week, buddy. We're going to have a little chat. Meanwhile, Bob Lenarduzzi also weighing in on former captain, Jay DeMeritt, talking about what Jay's legacy is.
What he's brought to us on the pitch, I think, is evident in that he is a competitor and he will battle until he can't battle anymore. It's almost, I actually said to him this morning, when you consider the Philly game, that was a battle because they had Connor Casey up front that was just running into people, and he was matching up with him quite nicely. Then he goes down and it's done. So right up until the final game, he's battling, and so I think from an on-field perspective, that's his legacy to the club. Off-field, he's been a massive contributor to us getting out into the community. He's strengthened our brand. 120 appearances over the time that he's been here. When you couple that with the length of our season, that's a significant amount of times that he's out there. And throughout my career, there's a handful of players that I can honestly say understood the value of winning fans over one at a time, and he's one of them.
Don't forget, am650radio.com. Watch the webcast, and you have a chance to win Whitecaps tickets. We could be doing that in the next 10-15 minutes, so you want to log on right now for that opportunity to see that. We will talk about what Jay DeMeritt brought on and off the field in just a second. Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event. 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive, at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. Around the Globe is coming up, and like I said, DeMeritt. What did he bring on and off the field? Simon and I will discuss that next.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
The Vancouver Street Soccer League isn't out to change the world. Just give the men and women in our homeless communities a chance to play soccer. Regardless of skill, everyone's included in practices and matches with teams from UBC, the Vancouver Police Department, the Vancouver Mayor's Office, and more. The focus is fun, but it builds skill and confidence, and that can change someone's world. Find out more at VancouverStreetSoccer.com.
This message fueled by Dusso's Fresh Pasta and Sauce. Proud to support community on and off the pitch.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Purchase any new Kia before July 31st and get their special Summer in the City package with free car washes for life, free airport shuttle and parking, a 4-piece travel set, and you're automatically entered to win a trip for 2 to Harrison Hot Springs in September. No Bull, now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
It was true Italy. Every weekend, the Dusso family gathered to share laughter and plates of homemade pasta. So when the Dusso brothers came to Canada, rather than become homesick for the good times, they opened Dusso's on Granville Island. A generation later, the Dussos are still creating authentic, home-style Italian pasta and sauce from natural ingredients. Great carbs and quick, healthy meals. Official pasta of the Vancouver Canucks and Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Look for Dusso's Fresh Pasta and Sauce at your local grocery store. Visit Dussos, DUSOS.com.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the Big League. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
It's your money with Fred Snyder.
I believe that everybody should have a financial plan. I believe that everybody should get more financial education, and they don't. That's what we're trying to do here. You also need a financial planner, you need a financial plan, and you need the best products inside that particular plan. And we try to teach you about all that and more here on this show.
Fred Snyder, Sunday mornings from 9 to 11 on All Time Favorites AM 650.
The Home Depot wants to thank all our customers who contributed to the Orange Door Project fundraising campaign. With your help, we raised over $925,000. 100% of the proceeds raised at your store will support a housing charity for youth in your community. To all of you who made a donation, many thanks. We couldn't have done it without you. Helping youth build brighter futures. That's the power of the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.ca/foundation to learn more.
We're back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Gray.
What did Demerit bring on and off the field? We'll talk about that in a second here on Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk, plus around the globe. But first, let's check the latest scores from the NASL and USL Pro with Simon.
Yes, Carolina Railhawks defeated the Ottawa Fury today by 3-0. Tomorrow, FC Edmonton play Indy 11 at home, and in USL Pro, it was Charleston Battery 2, Arizona United 0.
All right, time now for the latest headlines from around the globe, taking a look at the news, notes, and rumors from around the globe. Neil and the team at Uniglobe One Travel have you covered. 604-677-1495. We've talked about it. AS Roma reportedly going to dish out about $5 million for Seattle Sounders defender DeAndre Yedlin, and then they'll loan him back to the Sounders, at least for the remainder of this season. Chelsea's Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku spent last season on loan at Everton. Now he wants to stay. He wants to make that a permanent switch to Goodison Park. Looks like Manchester City goalkeeper Joe Hart will very much likely become the next England captain after his dressing room influence at the World Cup impressed manager Roy Hodgson. And Chicharito, Simon talked about this in the starting 11, being wooed by Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan after it appears that he is now surplus at Manchester United. That was a look around the globe with Uniglobe One Travel. Need travel help? A trip to Europe, perhaps down the I-5 to Seattle for a Cascadia match, maybe a cruise. Neil and the crew have you covered. Whatever you need, 604-677-1495. That's 604-677-1495. Simon, very quickly, we're short on time here in the first half of the program. Jay DeMerit, what is one thing you liked from Jay, or what is one thing that you think Jay brought on and off the field for the Whitecaps?
On the field, he commanded and led by example when he was fit. And I thought certainly in the Derby games that was very much the case. I go back to 2012 and think of those efforts. Off the field, proactive approach to just selling the club and the game as a whole. Never shied away from any appearance that he wanted to. He might have relished it as always, being the personality that he was, but that was him for me.
And off the field?
Yeah, off the field, proactive. Just a proactive person who showed that, getting in the community, trying to sell the game, that he had something of a story or something that you can go and do this and be willing to share it with anyone. I think that was something that motivated him and was very important for not only him but for the club. And I think that has proved to have a real positive effect and been good to his popularity and him being able to connect people to himself and the club.
For me, on the field, it was just his determination, the fact that he would go into challenges hard. He would give it 100%, not the cliched 110%. He would just go after guys and give it his all in games, and you could tell that he left everything on the field in every single one of those games. Off the field, like you said, that opportunity to go out, turn one fan one by one, talk to a fan, make them into Whitecaps fans, I think was Jay's greatest accomplishment for this team, and he had a lot of time to do it. He only played in what was it, 59% of the games for the Whitecaps. So it's funny because Bobby said he's done so many appearances, but it's because he was injured so much, he was asked to do a lot of those appearances. But Jada Merritt, obviously, very much entwined with this Whitecaps and will continue to be so. David Sandals talking injuries, including that conversation about Jada Merritt that basically put Jay out of soccer, plus a preview of the Whitecaps, who are going to host FC Dallas at BC Place on Sunday. Visit our friends at Closed Loop Mobile Oil Change, closedloopoil.ca. They come directly to your home. They maintain your vehicle with warranty-approved parts and fluids. And, hey, if you mention you heard it on the show, you get an extra 10% off. Yeah, 10% off if you mention the show. closedloopoil.ca, the website again, closedloopoil.ca. The second half of the program, up in minutes. But first, the bcsoccer.net profile.
Time now for the BC Soccer Profile, showcasing special achievements and success stories from throughout the province. Less than 1 year to a greater goal, Canada has unveiled yet another countdown clock on the road to the FIFA Women's World Cup Canada 2015. The newest clock in Moncton joins the countdown clocks in Montreal, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Vancouver. The clock in Vancouver is located at Terry Fox Plaza outside BC Place Stadium. It stands more than 3 meters tall and is 1.2 meters wide. The clock also features the competition logo and the official slogan, "To a Greater Goal." For more information on the Vancouver Countdown Clock and the matches to be held at BC Place for the FIFA Women's World Cup Canada 2015, visit bcsoccer.net. That's bcsoccer.net.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Purchase any new Kia before July 31st and get their special Summer in the City package with free car washes for life, free airport shuttle and parking, a 4-piece travel set, and you're automatically entered to win a trip for 2 to Harrison Hot Springs in September. No Bull, now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the Big League. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
The Straight Razor Shave, a leading man classic. Steady hand coaxing the rugged face back to smoothness. This nearly lost art has found revival at Barber & Co. Hot towels, straight edge blade, and your face. It's an experience that reminds you you're alive. You're a man in the company of history's finest men. Start at barberandco.ca. Pick your barber shop in Yaletown, Gastown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th, and relax into the big leather chair for the shave of your life.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at Umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Sunday morning at 11 on AM 650, listen for The Law Show hosted by Sterling Fox. Vancouver's only law-focused radio show offering a comprehensive look at everything you need to know about the law. Joining Sterling in studio this Sunday will be Murphy Batista personal injury lawyers to discuss in-depth and with expertise the legal categories of personal injury and insurance law. Join Murphy Batista, LLP, Vancouver personal injury lawyers on AM 650's Law Show this Sunday at 11.